You didn't find this place. It found you. A friend of a friend. A number passed over drinks at a bar you go to on Thursdays. The woman who calls you 2 days later sounds like she works in real estate. Her voice is measured. Her questions are simple. Your schedule, your flexibility, your comfort with discretion. She uses that word once. Discretion. She doesn't define it. She doesn't need to. You already understand what kind of conversation this is. She doesn't mention the agency by name. She doesn't describe what the agency does. She mentions a figure, a rough monthly number, and lets it sit in the air between you. You do not ask questions. That restraint impresses her, though she doesn't show it. You think this is an interview. It isn't. The interview happened before she called. They already know your bank balance. They already know your rent is 3 weeks late. They already know about the job you left in March and haven't replaced. They know your Instagram, your patterns, your relationship status. The vetting moved in one direction only. You studied nothing. They studied everything. The asymmetry is not an oversight. It is the first rule of the operation, and it was never written down. You say yes. She tells you someone will be in touch. 2 days later, someone is. Level 2. The new girl. Your first booking is a hotel you have walked past but never entered. The lobby smells like money and controlled temperature. A man at the bar looks at you the moment you walk in. Not because you are beautiful, though you are, but because he is expecting you. He ordered you the same way he ordered his drink. You wore the dress they suggested. You practiced the smile once, briefly, over coffee with the woman who onboarded you. She called it your professional face. You thought that was funny at the time. It is not funny now. The agency takes 50%. This was mentioned once, in passing, in the same tone you used to describe the weather. You did the math in your head and kept your expression still, because the other 50% is more than you made all of last month. You told yourself it was temporary. You told yourself you were in control. Both of those things felt true at the time. The rules governing how you behave with clients were never provided in writing. You received no manual, no orientation, no list of what is and is not acceptable. You learn the rules the way every girl learns them here, by watching what happens when someone breaks one. A girl you met during your first week disappears from the schedule on a Tuesday. Her name is simply gone. No explanation, no phone call, no goodbye. You ask about her once, carefully, and the question is not answered. You do not ask again. You adjust faster after that. Level 3. The regular. You have 3 clients who ask for you by name. This takes 4 months. You know which one tips and which one counts the cash twice before handing it over. You know which one wants conversation. His wife doesn't listen. His business is struggling. He just needs 2 hours where someone looks at him like he matters. You know which one wants silence and a specific brand of whiskey on the table when he arrives. You know which one will try to push the arrangement further, and exactly how far you let him believe he is getting before you redirect him without his noticing. This is skill. You developed it. You are good at it. You have an income now that has reorganized your life around its rhythm. A better apartment, different hours, a phone you answer selectively. You have built a version of stability and you protect it the way you would protect anything valuable. That feeling, that sense of control of having figured something out, is not an accident. The agency engineered it. The moment you have regulars, the moment you have a reputation and a schedule and something to lose, your compliance becomes self-managing. They no longer need to remind you of anything. You remind yourself. Every decision you make, how you dress, how quickly you respond, how you handle a difficult client, is now optimized around keeping what you have built. That is not freedom. That is leverage. It just feels identical from the inside. Level 4, the recruiter. The offer arrives through someone you already trust. A colleague, a friend from the early weeks. Someone who has watched how you work and decided you are useful in a new capacity. She tells you there is an opportunity. She uses the same tone the first woman used with you. She mentions a flat fee, paid per introduction, deposited without paperwork, non-negotiable. Your job is to identify candidates. Women with the right look, the right availability, the right kind of financial pressure. You meet them for coffee. You describe an opportunity. You use words like flexibility and discretion. You use the same words that were used on you. It is not a lie. It is just incomplete in exactly the same ways. Here's what changes the moment you accept this role. That every woman you have ever known becomes something you are now looking at differently. Your friends, your sister's friends, Women you meet at bars on Thursday nights. Your social world is now the agency's recruitment pipeline. You did not sell them, but you handed them over. The distinction matters less than you think. The trap is specific. If a girl you recruited causes a problem, disappears without notice, steals from a client, brings the wrong kind of attention, the agency does not absorb the problem. The agency routes it back to you. You made the introduction. You vouched implicitly with your name and your access. The liability does not belong to the agency. The liability belongs to you. This was always the arrangement. It was simply never stated. Level 5, the handler. You manage 5 women. You know their schedules, their regulars, their rates. You know which one is dependable and which one drinks too much before a booking. You know which one is saving to leave and which one has stopped thinking about leaving. You pass instructions down and money up. You take a cut. They take home less so you can take more. You tell yourself you look after them. In some ways you do. You are the person they call when something goes wrong. You are the person who checks in after a difficult booking. You are the closest thing this operation has to someone who cares. But the agency did not promote you to protect them. The agency promoted you because your name is now attached to every problem they generate. Before this level, your mistakes were yours. What now? One of your girls makes a mistake, a no-show, a client who leaves angry, a conversation that went somewhere it should not have, and the phone rings for you. These problems climb the chain until they find a name. Your name is the first one they reach. More women beneath you means more income. It also means more surface area for everything to fall apart. The agency calculated your earnings before you did. They always calculate everything before you do. Level 6, the fixer. The call comes at 11 p.m. on a Wednesday. A client films something he was not supposed to film. One of your girls has not answered her phone in 6 hours and has 3 regulars suspended in uncertainty. A payment arrived short, or did not arrive at all. You do not ask which problem tonight. You do your makeup in the car. You walk into the lobby like you own the building. You smile at the man behind the desk in a way that makes him not remember you later. You handle it. The agency does not use the word fixer. The agency does not acknowledge that this function exists anywhere in its structure. What exists is your phone number and a set of expectations that were never spoken aloud. If the situation surfaces, if a name gets mentioned in a room with lawyers in it, your name is the name that gets mentioned. Not the handler's name, not the director's name, yours. You understood this without being told. That understanding was part of the qualification for the role. You are now inside the insulation layer. The agency is a series of circles. The outer circles absorb exposure. The inner circles collect revenue. You are not in the inner circles. You are the material the outer circles are made of. Useful, load-bearing, expendable in exactly that order. Level 7, the accountant. The desk is clean. The office has a window. The emails are professional and use the language of legitimate consulting. You are not counting cash. You are constructing invoices. Shell companies registered in jurisdictions where nominee directors ask nothing. Service agreements between businesses that exist on paper and nowhere else. A company in one country invoices a company in another for consulting services that were never performed. The second company pays. The money that arrives looks like a fee. It looks like licensing revenue. It looks like rent on a property that no one occupies. The agency does not appear anywhere in this structure. It is distributed across 6 entities in 4 countries, none of which share a visible connection. You hold the map of how they connect. That map exists only in your head and in the documents that carry your signature. Prosecutors understand this architecture. They have prosecuted it before. They know that the person who signed the incorporation documents is the person whose name they put on the indictment. The agency generates the revenue. You generate the paperwork that makes the revenue untouchable, but the paperwork traces back to you, not to anyone above you, just you. You were given this role because you are careful and precise. You are also now in it in a way you cannot walk back. The documents exist, the signatures exist, the agency's name appears nowhere on any of them. Yours appears on all of them. Level 8, the madam. Your name is on the lease. Your number is saved in the phones of men who believe they are calling the woman who runs this operation. You take the calls, you handle the complaints, you attend the dinners, you wear the right clothes to the right rooms, and you sign what needs signing, and you make decisions that look exactly like authority. They are not authority. They are administration. The real decisions, Who is recruited? When a girl is removed from the schedule? How money moves between entities? Those arrive to you as instructions from a direction you cannot see. You execute them through the daily machinery of the business. You have complete visibility downward and almost none upward. This is by design. When investigators build a case against a network like this, they move toward the most visible node. You are visible. Your name is on the lease and on the client phones and on the surveillance footage from 4 hotel lobbies over the past 18 months. You are not a mistake the agency made. You are a feature the agency built. Every line of legal exposure was routed through you deliberately, stops at you completely, and goes no further. You are not the top of this organization. You are the ceiling that was built to fall. Level 9. The owner. There is no name that connects, no signature on a lease, no mobile number that traces back, no photograph in any agency file. You have never been in the same room as anyone who works for you. You never will be. The money has changed form 4 times before it reaches something that resembles a personal account. Shell companies, nominee directors, service invoices, rental agreements for properties that house no one. By the time it lands, it looks like it was always clean. It looks like it was born clean. You designed this architecture before the first girl was recruited, before the first client was vetted, before the first handler was promoted. The invisibility was the first thing you built. The operation was constructed around the invisibility, not the other way around. Now you know the gross intake of every handler in the network. You know which fixer is reliable and which one is starting to feel like a liability. You know exactly when to allow the madam's exposure to become an arrest, when the pressure is building in the wrong direction, and a controlled sacrifice is cleaner than the alternative. None of this knowledge required a meeting. It travels through the people below the people who know your name. You are at the top of something that does not officially exist. That is the only way to remain there. Here is what you were part of. 9 levels, 1 function. Everything else was decoration. You thought you were climbing. You were being processed. Every promotion was a transfer of liability wrapped in cash. The agency never threatened you. It simply gave you something to lose at every level and watched you protect it yourself. At the bottom, you protected your income. In the middle, you protected your girls. At the top, you protected your name. The agency protected nothing. You were the danger management system. You were the material the structure was made of. When the arrests come, and they always come, the pattern is identical. The fixer first, then the accountant, then the madam, photographed outside a federal building, her face the one that gets remembered. Each one looking upward, each one finding nothing. The owner collects. The owner was never present. You thought each level was a step towards something real. It wasn't. The door was never open. The light at the top was not an exit. It was the agency showing you exactly how far you were willing to go. And you went.